Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. So today we saw the second Chris Eubank Jr. Connor Benn press conference. This is in London. The Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is where the fight's going to be. Well, what can we say? As you know, I tend to think that this whole thing is a bit gimmicky, a bit of a pantomime, but there were some takeaways. And I must say, as far as I'm concerned, there's no good guy, bad guy in this story. Though if I am to lean one way now, I think I'm actually beginning to like Chris Eubank Jr. more. And that's nothing to do with Connor Benn. It's got everything to do with the fact that he's embarrassing, maybe, or he's saying things to Eddie Hearn that one is not normally accustomed to Eddie Hearn having to hear. And I actually quite like that. I was talking on the WhatsApp thing with some of the other chaps who appear on the Porky's Corner show. And I said, can't stand listening to Hearn about this. I mean, there's something about Eddie Hearn that's beginning to rub me the wrong way. He should really sort of park himself and be less engaged, because as Chris Eubank Jr. is saying, this is really between him and Connor Benn. Eddie Hearn is interjecting himself throughout the press conference as though he is a fighter. Now, I know that there are rumors around that Eddie Hearn used to be a fighter, boxing under the name of Eddie Hills. I've never been able to establish the veracity or otherwise of that story. Apparently no footage exists of any of those fights, so I tend to put that into the same category as I put Big John Fury's defeat of a bare knuckle champion for £100,000 on the hard road. In other words, into the fantasy box. But anyhow, Eddie Hearn was sort of, trying to interject himself. He was mocking how Chris Eubank Jr. had dressed. Chris Eubank Jr. had one of those 1970s sheepskin coats on, sort of like, I think Don Revie, the manager of Leeds United, used to wear one at one time. And they're the kind of things you see on the old 1970s show, The Sweeney. He was wanded, of course, before he stepped on the stage. It was all this pantomime. Note to security chappies. A wand will not detect the presence of an egg. Just FYI. Anyhow, it was all, it was all very sort of, what can we say? Amateur dramatics. Bunch of thespians, right? But anyways, you had this big sheepskin coat on, and Connor Benn was dressed, properly today in a suit. The other day it looked like he was in his pajamas, which maybe was appropriate because he was going to have breakfast, all down the side of his face. Anyways, one can't help but be humorous about these things. Eubank did say, as the conference went on, that he thought it was totally unfair that when the fight was cancelled last time around due to the substance issues in Connor Benn's tests, that undercard fighters who had incurred a great deal of expense hadn't been paid. And he was going to pay £50,000 out of his purse to, in some way, compensate or reimburse those undercard fighters, however many there were, which I thought was a very generous gesture, and he invited Connor Benn to do the same. Whether or not anything will come of this, one doesn't know. What was interesting about money, however, is you might recall on Tuesday, Eddie Hearn made a big deal about the purse split being 60-40 in favour of his fighter, Connor Benn. Well, it appears, if one is paying attention to what Chris Eubank Jr. is saying, that was a terminological inexactitude, a falsehood. Because according to Eubank, Turki Al-Sheikh had called him and said, how much do you want? Eubank had picked a number, very, very high, with a view to negotiating down, and lo and behold, he got that number. So there is no split. It's Turkey's paying Eubank, and then Turkey is paying, one would assume, Connor Benn. So Eubank says that Hearn had lied to the public. I'm not sure if we'll go quite that far as to say a lie to the public, but it certainly seemed that Hearn had maybe shaded the information in a way that was not entirely accurate. Who knows? And at the end of the piece, who really cares? But I would say that was a point to Eubank, scoring a point against Hearn. This had the flavour, really, of a Eubank Hearn press conference. Maybe that's what I should put in my description when I put up this email. This video. Tony Sims spoke. It was a refreshing break. You hear a real boxing man talking about how he didn't think it would be a problem for his man Ben to go up in weight. He's fought his last couple of fights at 154, 160 shouldn't be a problem. They had a game plan. He recognized that Eubank's team would have a game plan as well. Very civilized. Nice to hear a quality boxing man. Likewise, Nigel Benn spoke. Nigel Benn is very, very bullish on his son, as one would expect, but he thinks that the fight won't go past 4 rounds. He thinks it could be over in the first round. He says that his son will be all over Eubank, and as soon as he catches Eubank, it'll be done. Very, very, very firm on that issue. He said also that his son was a better boxer than he was, which is a very rich compliment indeed. So he thought also that on Tuesday, Eubank Jr. had glassed his son, not hit him with an egg. Well, of course, a glass would have been a significantly much more serious thing, and that would have undoubtedly led to, I suppose, criminal charges, litigation, etc., so forth. And he did apologise, because apparently he had tried to grab hold of Eubank, he was fulsome in his apology. Eubank wasn't overly charitable in accepting that apology. He said something like, yes, I'll let you off this time, but if ever you touch me with your hand again, you won't get it back, which set Connor Benn off, poof, like a Roman candle. And Nigel Benn said to his son, look, some version of, look, I've got this, I don't need you to look after me. And he reiterated his apology. Very, very classy guy. I mean, of course, Nigel Benn, 60, just a bit 4 or 5 years younger than me, 61 maybe, a mature man, a man who's not going to be rolling around with the likes of Eubank Jr. Though, of course, in his day, things would have been very, very different. And Nigel Benn is a man who was, unlike the children, who have had a very nice, private, privileged life. Nigel Benn was a genuine hard kid and a hard man, but it was he was quite magnanimous and apologized. I didn't mean to touch you, sorry, and very classy. When Connor was given an opportunity to talk, he basically said, look, I'm done with things, I just want to fight. Ben Shalom was saying 130,000 people are waiting to buy tickets. So there'll be a bunch of people, no doubt, who will be disappointed, I suppose. He did say that Eddie Hearn was cashing out his fighter, which had a ring of truth to it, to be honest with you. Ronnie Davis was asked to speak. Again, classy guy, old-time boxing man. Said it would be a great fight. He paid a lot of respect to the other side. He paid a lot of respect to Tony Sims. He just basically has reiterated that Eubank is too big, which of course gets him into trouble with, his client, young Eubank, who wants it not to be about size, but about skill. And so Ronnie Davis, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, said, oh, yes, no, it's because you're faster, stronger, fitter, leaner, something like that, clearly sort of, I get the sense that both Ronnie Davis and Sims are just sort of, look, they're old-time experienced boxing hands, and this gimmicky children's sort of stuff is kind of beneath them. Jonathan Banks really doesn't want to talk. He's like, yeah, it'll be a great fight. Looking forward to it. Both guys want to get their hands on each other. Yeah, you know, like he doesn't want to talk. He's not into this either, right? And then finally, Derek Chisora at the front row asked a question, and he asked Shalom and Hearn if they were prepared to have £100,000, I guess, pound bet. And both promoters appeared to agree with that. And then Shalom said, oh, yes, that's good. I'll be making even much more money. It's like, whatever. I mean, I wasn't really interested in what either promoter has to say. You know, it's just, it is what it is. But I think this will be a fun fight. I'm trying to get myself excited about it. I can't get away from the gimmicky aspect of it. I just want it to take place. It'll be, you know, it could be entertaining. I would expect Eubank to win. Nearer the time, I'll do a more, a proper assessment and review, and, you know, maybe get Possum to do Possum's picks or something like that. But we've got quite a ways to go. The fight's April the 26th. So what's that? Just a smidge under 2 months away. Lots of water can go under lots of bridges by then. And no doubt it'll be a sellout. It'll be a big fight in the United Kingdom. I don't think it'll be overly popular in North America. But you know, fight fans will tune in. And it's yeah, it'll be fun for what it is. So there we go. Stay tuned. You know, sometimes I think that, you know, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. You know, something else could go wrong to derail this. Who knows? You know, it is what it is, right? Okay, well, please like, please share, please subscribe. I put a link to my to the video that Porky did this morning on his channel, where you know, I had an appearance. So if you haven't gone and seen that, please do. Please like and subscribe to his channel. I think pretty much everybody on here will be a subscriber to those bigger channels anyhow, just like I was when I was, you know, before I was even thinking of doing YouTube. You know, there's a number of these really good channels out there, and the more sort of independent they are, the better I found it as a fan. You know, I'm not so interested in the, you know, the big ones to get lots of media access, because it's just kind of PR fluff, really. But anyways, you know, your mileage may vary. Okay, thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, and have an awesome day. Thank you. Bye-bye.